just off the record or on the record, I don't care. You know, the one thing that if I were talking to somebody out of state, I'd say Oaknoll is a living, thriving, active community of people that are enjoying life to its fullest. And it's not just what's within the sphere of this building. We're shuttled around all over town. We get involved with various community activities. It's a pretty active group, so, and they stimulate each other, for crying out loud. You know, I want to break every now and then and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, but I'm busy with this.
Oaknoll is a continuing care retirement community. It's been part of the Iowa City community for almost 50 years. We are celebrating our 50th year anniversary, and we're really, really excited about that. So we provide care for about 450 residents. We have 250 staff, and it's just a wonderful community within the greater community. A woman, a professor who recently retired from the University of Iowa. She wanted to stay in Iowa City because she loved Iowa City and everything Iowa City had to offer, but there wasn't a retirement community here. So she gathered her friends and they started meeting at the Jefferson Hotel downtown, and then they hired a consultant, and really the rest is history.
This was her way of getting a future that she wanted to have. So I think she basically started through the churches and would try and get support that way, and they just kept getting the right people at the right time, probably. You know how things like that work. And the next thing we knew, here we are. They're building and they're moving in, and so, and it's been such a blessing to me.
Well, when I was first appointed to the board, the facility had just opened the previous fall. There were, as I recall, 54 apartment units, independent living units, and a 32-bed health center. Shortly after that, it was determined to double the number of independent living units. Since that time, there have been more expansions than I can count. It's been a community-based endeavor from the beginning.
It does say something for an organization in a field that has undergone a lot of changes in 50 years, for it to have remained stable and vibrant and growing. If you read the history of Oaknoll, it's very interesting to see what led people to establish something like this, which was a very innovative kind of an organization at that time. And yet they were very committed to what they saw as kind of a mission, and tried to develop the kind of health care as well as residential facility that they would like to have when they would reach that part of their life. And I think it's because of all of those committed people that Oaknoll has thrived throughout the years, and in many ways not deviated much at all from that original mission.
You know, what a story. How many residents that we've served here at Oaknoll over so many, many years. And not only residents, but generations. And it really is a success story in what Oaknoll means to the Iowa City community, what Oaknoll means to Eastern Iowa, and what Oaknoll means to all the residents who have called Oaknoll home.
We would love to have the opportunity to share our story, to explain what we do and how we go about it. Once people are here, as soon as they walk in the door, they just have a feeling about this community. We've heard that so many times, and the biggest thing that I would just encourage people to do is, we hear this often, that people have put off moving to a retirement community, and then when they finally do, they wish they had done it 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and just, we'd like you not to be that person. Come in now.
99.9% of the residents that move here, one of the first things they say in the first year or so is, gosh, I would have done this sooner. Certainly can understand it's a new chapter for people, and it's a significant new chapter, and big life decisions being made. But first and foremost, you just need to come to Oaknoll and see what it's all about, and really spend time at Oaknoll and really spend time with the residents and get a sense of what this community is all about.
But we also had our checklist that we went through, and as we visited other healthcare facilities, residential campuses around the Iowa City, Coralville area, Oaknoll was the one that really came to the top of the list.
One of the things from the board standpoint that was always evident, and it continues to be now, is the commitment to facilities. So the programming, the reputation brought us here, but the facility, and especially this opportunity to be in the new addition, is just frosting on the cake.
Probably the most significant thing that I've noticed is the attitude of residents in particular, how they have blended into the community, how they have come to regard this as home. Many of them had resided in their own individual residence for decades. I think were apprehensive as to what this move was going to mean to them, how well they would become acclimated to this new living arrangement, but you could see almost instantly that this worked well for them, that they made new friends, renewed old acquaintances, and became a part of the community almost instantly, and I think that has improved the quality of life of virtually everyone who's resided at Oaknoll.
Looking into where we saw ourselves in life and where we expected to be along the way. We recognize the mortality that we all deal with, and so we've been looking forward to this move for a long time, and so we're delighted with where we settled. Here we are.
But really, we're looking for a place to live, not a place to die, and I think that sometimes that is misrepresented, and this is an exciting, invigorating place to live, and we found that it's more about lifestyle than it is life care. So life care brought us here, but lifestyle makes it a lot more fun to be here.
The one thing that comes to mind most significantly is that when I think of Oaknoll and I talk about Oaknoll and I live Oaknoll, that sense of community, that we are people taking care of people, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's staff providing services to the residents. We are a community of people, and we are living with each other day in and day out, and that's extraordinary. Residents and staff alike is something that I will forever be grateful for. And it's that type of thing that intangible when you talk about community and that sense of community. You think, yeah, you know, what is that? Yeah, that's a nice buzzword, and people talk about that all the time. But when you walk into this community and you can feel it and it embraces you until the moment you leave, you think, yep, that's tangible. That is something tangible that happens all day, every day within this community, within this building, on this campus, every day. That sense of community.
Well, that's one of the most important programming aspects, I believe. I've been listening to a board member for years tell me all about Oaknoll, the facility, and so forth. But I'm impressed. My background is more on strategic planning and customer service and strategic marketing, and what's really great about Oaknoll is all the employees really working as a team and caring about their people and keeping us moving, and they understand customer service, and they make it a joy to be here, whether they're waiting tables or sweeping the floor or giving me directions on how to get from one end of the building to the other. And they're good, they're well trained.
CREATE stands for, or is an acronym for our corporate values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. And it really is kind of how we live our lives here. As staff people, we try to live up to those values every day. And when we do that, we can make some incredible things happen and ultimately create home for our residents.
I've considered it such a blessing to have a place that I can call home and have friends and activities and know that you're settled. And my family is very thankful as well.
So we had a group come in, it's like it was all access bicycles or something like that, and they brought in bikes that residents could ride safely on their own, so kind of like tricycle bikes, tandem bikes with two-person bikes, where we had a staff person sitting next to a resident and just kind of going around the parking lot. And then it's like I was on a bike that we were able to load a person in a wheelchair onto the front of the bike and kind of take them around for a ride. So it was a pretty neat experience.
I enjoy being with all of the different people who are here. I enjoy hearing their stories. I also enjoy not just working with them on the council, but I also enjoy playing with them. And so, we play bridge, we play poker, we can do Wii bowling or any of those kinds of things, or just sit and talk in the pub or wherever. And I think that's really an important thing too, to keep life in balance. We need to not just work, but we also need to play.
I think that the existing residents do an excellent job in reaching out to new residents, making them feel a part of the Oaknoll community. And one of the testaments to that, I think, is the fact that you can essentially count on one hand over the past 50 years the number of people who have decided that this wasn't for them and have relocated to another facility.
Oaknoll is an active retirement community. It does mean something. First of all, in the bricks and mortar, it means something in that we have over 300 independent living apartments. We have only 36 assisted living apartments, and we have a 58-bed health center. So as we look at the community, and what's most important is providing that continuum of care, but people are active and involved not only in Oaknoll but in the community, and continue to contribute to the Iowa City Coralville community and the Oaknoll community in and of itself. Active people doing active things, contributing, and enjoying their retirement years.
It's just right for more people than they realize. They just don't realize how nice it's going to be for them. And when they go to assisted living, people like it down there. People think, oh, well, I don't want to go to something like that. But they get down there and they find that they have nice living quarters, and they have so much help and exercise programs and the whole thing. And it's a good place to be as well.
It's really just about trying to create the environment where our residents can live their lives, and basically at whatever level they're at. So we have some residents who are truly independent and are out traveling the world doing their things, all the way to residents who really are dependent on us for almost everything. And our job is to try to make their lives as full and complete as possible, regardless of where they are in that continuum.
We both appreciate the fitness opportunities, the pool, the water aerobics classes, the varying opportunities not only in the exercise room, but through the classes that are offered.
Yeah, Linda actually does a better job of the fitness than I do, but I've been using the physical therapy facilities too because of my physical condition. So they're very good. We got a nice room here.
By being here at Oaknoll, I'm not confined to these walls, and it's easy for me to get where I need to go in the community, that with the transportation services, et cetera, which I have not needed to use except occasionally for a healthcare appointment. But I really appreciate being able to sort of have home here at Oaknoll and yet be able to be with my friends and my activities outside in the community, and hopefully can work to help people in the community as well as at Oaknoll.
We've met a lot of new friends, and we continue our friendships with all our friends in Iowa City and around the state, and in fact we have family all over the country, and they're glad we're here, but it's not like we've separated ourselves from our historical relationships. In fact, we share Oaknoll with many of our friends who are quick to look at the bright sunlight and sunsets we see out the windows and all the amenities we share.
To me, it's a good investment. It's just a great investment, and it's just, you can't have a better place to live in your circumstances. You know, different people have different circumstances, and mine was such that this was just the right thing.
We are known throughout Iowa City as a quality retirement community. We have an amazing tradition of providing that quality care. One of the things that I think we're most proud of is the number of second generation and sometimes even third generation residents who have chosen to call Oaknoll home. You know, that speaks to our tradition through the years, that it's like, you know, 20 or 25 years ago when their parents were here at Oaknoll, they had a great experience, and enough so that, you know, when it came time for them to choose where they're going to live for the rest of their lives, they chose to place their trust in us. So just a huge obligation, but also just a great honor, and we try to live up to that every day.
I'm Pat Hayden, Executive Director at Oaknoll Retirement Residence.
And I'm Steve Rowe. For the last 17 years, I've been the Administrator and CFO at Oaknoll.
After 37 years of service to Oaknoll, it is time for me to step down as Director. I am delighted Steve will assume that role. It is his time now to lead this wonderful community, and without a doubt, he will lead with honor.
Under Pat's leadership, Oaknoll has developed an outstanding reputation within the Iowa City community. I'm excited to build on that tradition as we look to serve even more people who want to call Oaknoll home.
You know, one of the things that really is really very, very important to us as we have planned many additions over the years is to really provide those amenities that are really important to the generation, to the residents that we serve. And of course, since we've been in the Iowa City community for more than 50 years, we have served a number of generations. And since I've been at Oaknoll for 36 years, I have seen that transition of what the expectation is for different generations. So today, you know, we have a pub lounge. Who would have thought 35 years ago that a retirement community would have a pub lounge where residents can gather and enjoy each other's company? The movie theater, the pool, the swimming pool, the wellness center. I mean, it's just, it's not your grandmother's nursing home any longer. It is an active retirement community that really is honed into the wants and the needs of the generations that we serve.
I think in all respects, Pat has exhibited exemplary leadership and has left a strong legacy.
So she will be missed, but I again have had the pleasure of watching the succession planning, and I think that the future will always reflect the impact of Pat Hayden's leadership over these past 30-some years.
She started as a clerk in the business office after getting a bachelor's degree from the University of Iowa, and shortly thereafter became the business manager, then the assistant administrator, and for the past 21 years has been the executive director.
When I first started, of course, it was a lot smaller. I've overseen 5 major additions, but even at that time, I remember my first day at work, and I thought that still it was a huge complex, and I thought if I could at least find the time clock, I could check in and get paid while I wandered around to find the business office where I was the business clerk. and so it has changed significantly over the years. But again, that's been part of our success, because as we've marketed and as we've listened to new generations who want to call Oaknoll home, really when you look at Oaknoll today and look at the amenities that are here today, it's a result of really what the expectation is. So we've been really, really good listeners. We've built strong relationships with people who call Oaknoll home, and we acknowledge that we're a family, and that we are a community of people just trying to take care of one another.
Pat's been just a fantastic mentor for all of us through the years. She took a chance on me. I had zero experience in long-term care or senior housing or anything like that, but she must have seen something in me that said that this would be a good fit. So for that, I am really forever grateful. And it's just been a fantastic relationship. We really complement each other. I think our strengths are in different areas, and it's like she's taught me a lot just watching how she works with residents in difficult situations, how she's always so patient and just kind of working through an issue. She's been a great role model for me.
Well, she's definitely a community leader, and we've known her for decades. And I'd say we knew her when she was a little girl, learning to train to perform many different jobs at Oaknoll and playing the role she has in the community. So we've seen Pat from different perspectives. I admire her ability to convene with a large variety of residents, of community leaders and staff, and bring them all together in a productive way, in a positive perspective, because frankly, I'm not sure I could do that. There are a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different preferences, and of course there's always something. Pat always handles it so very well. Very upbeat, positive person.
I have appreciated Pat a lot. I didn't really know Pat until we came to look at Oaknoll and see if this was a place that we wanted to be. And I have always found her to be knowledgeable, to be helpful, and yet she knows where she's headed and where she wants the organization to be, and is able to stay on track with that. I've also appreciated that she's personally interested in me and has shared some of her own personality, her own life, and the things that she has learned over the years. So I think I would call her a friend, and I value that friendship.
She's just going to be great, whatever she does. Whatever she does, she's just going to be perfect. And I'm hoping a really wonderful, different career for her.
She has, I think, continued to hire top-notch people to come in as Oaknoll employees. One certainly being Steve Rowe, who is going to be her successor. And again, with his long experience, his acquaintance with the residents, I don't think it's going to miss a beat, so to speak, when he takes over. And that has been something, I think, that has caused the residents to have a high feeling of confidence and assurance that their needs are going to continue to be cared for.
Every resident that I have known over the last 36 years has some place in my heart and has made me who I am today. And each one has been really very, very special and has touched my heart so deliberately that I leave with that. And the staff, I've had an opportunity to work with just fantastic staff who have always been in my corner and have always supported me. 15
years ago, Pat was envisioning a project where they would have fitness facilities, they'd have a pool, they'd have a training program, they'd have programming that would provide a totally comprehensive community. And now here we are. We've benefited from 3 different additions, really, that have been step-by-step building an even richer community than we first saw about 15 years ago.
It is a huge milestone to be celebrating 50 years, and we are so very, very excited about that. What it says is that we have provided services for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of residents, and provided peace of mind for families and friends of those residents who have called Oaknoll home over the many, many years. You know, to be a part of the greater Iowa City community for that long and contribute to the community. The residents contributing their time, talent, and Oaknoll as an institution, as an organization, contributing to agencies and events and that are so very, very dear to us. It also says that we know how to do what we do, and we do it really very, very well.
So we do have 30 acres of land that we purchased in the last couple of years for a potential future second campus. There's still a lot of work and thinking that needs to go into what we intend to do there, but the idea is that we would have an entire continuum of care, just like we have on our existing campus at the new community.
And I really think that you know, we set the standard, and people not only, and organizations not only in the area, but also in eastern Iowa and the state of Iowa, look at Oaknoll and look at what we've done over the last 50 years and what we're planning to do for the next 50 years. The message that I'm giving here is that you know, Oaknoll is just not an entity in and of itself, but you know, we are an anchor in this neighborhood. We are an anchor in this community, and you know, we feel that connection and that partnership. And to celebrate 50 years, it's just wonderful. It's beyond explanation.
The life care part of Oaknoll is probably obvious to you, and the value of that maybe is invaluable, but it's really lifestyle. So if you want the feeling of being cared for, being attended to, and being worry-free from a lot of the daily challenges of households and daily living, this would be a perfect choice for you.
What she said.
Yes, she will be missed, and it's like, no, you can't replace somebody who's been with us for 20 years as executive director and 35 years throughout her career. I think we're in a good place, though. She has built a very, very deep bench. A number of us that have been around for 15 years plus that are ready to carry on that tradition of quality, and we wish her well.